frying pan.
And into the fire. Run! Run!
Hello and welcome to another Out of the Frying Pan podcast YouTube video, and today I'm unboxing some Gundabad Warbats from Forge World. And here we are for a pretty quick unboxing of the new Forge World Gundabad Warbats. I know a fair few people would have picked these up. This isn't exactly new either. I mean, they've been out for a couple of weeks now, and they were teased a few weeks before, so there's been a lot of discussion over them. But I thought I'll still stick a 5-minute video up for those of you who haven't seen them outside the painted versions on the website. Which, to be fair, the 360 views on there probably give you a better idea of what's in the box than me showing you the bits. But we'll have some fun with it anyway, and I'll give you my thoughts on them. I've already sliced the box open so that I don't slice my fingers open on camera. But here we are. So, usual stuff. Hobbit branded because it's from a Hobbit film box. Middle-earth strategy battle game, Forge World, and the really nicely painted images on the front. And then inside you have your assembly instructions and a component guide. Let's put that to one side. Whilst your two 40mm bases, and just separate them up into kind of component parts. One of my first sort of thoughts when I saw these was how much resin there is in the box. It's quite a chunky box. Bigger than the sort of the two hero packs you're seeing from Forge World at the moment. I thought these are priced quite fairly, I think, compared to sort of, I think they're 50-point models, are they, or 25? I can't remember. I think they're 50-point models. In some ways, you would look at the price and think, well, it's fairly pricey compared to what you get. But these are chunky. There's a lot of resin in here. These are more than just buying a couple of inventory figures, and I think the price matches quite well. Forge World's never cheap, is it? Let's be honest. It's boutique miniatures. I know some people won't agree with me there. I think you're paying for the best quality resin around now. The newer stuff is fantastic. I know if you buy some of the older kits, maybe from old 40k days, some of the kits are looking a little bit tired now. But the new Forge World stuff is very high quality resin. Very rarely have I seen any miscast or anything like that, and Forge World are very quick to deal with it if there are. So I think they're pretty good. But you know, they're optional. No one has to buy them. So they've got base toppers here, which form the sort of the base that the pillars which the bats attached to start on. I suppose if you were worried about the basing not matching your army, you could just place your pillar straight on a base and base it as normal. It would still work. You could even trim away very easily the bit of the stonework here if you had a different idea, but I think they'll match in with most Gundabad themed basing, unless anyone's doing anything unusual. So this is the first sort of base topper, and I believe that this pillar will fit on there. So usual good quality casting, should be fairly easy to clean up. I can't see any major issues there. That would take very long at all. Plenty of mold release agent on, which seems to be pretty standard with Forge World, so it's very important that you wash it, and wash it well with lots of hot soapy water. Very occasionally you can't remove enough, and if you don't remove enough and you spray it, your paint might chip off. So it's really important you have a really good wash, and if you can't get it off, you contact Forge World, but most cases washing it well will do the job. Yeah, these are pretty cool, to be honest with you. Very nicely cast, very clean. I can't really see anything that will need much cleanup at all on these larger, chunkier sections. Very easy to cut the gates off, and away you go. The next topper, similar, slightly wider piece goes on this time. Wider at the bottom, but less height. Yeah, they're very cool. It's going to be fairly easy, I think, to get a really nice paint job on those. Nice worn and weathered stonework, usually fairly fun to paint. There's loads of detail on there which you can catch with washes and things. It'll be good for those who like to dry brush and things. It's just perfect. No doubt I'll use some oil washes and things as well. So pretty high quality. Let's bring it over to the bats themselves. So this looks like the what was probably the bodies. So they're the sort of the size of a decent sized torso of an infantry model or something. They're fairly decent sized models. And then you've got these two little sprues that have legs, the tail, obviously the rear legs, the tail and the head on. Same for this one. And they're labelled A and B, so you've got batten A and B. It should be fairly easy. I think I haven't tried putting one of these together, so I'm making an assumption here, but looking at the way they've been cut and on recent history, I would say that these are going to go together fairly easily. I don't know how many gaps there will be, if there's much, but I'd be pretty confident they wouldn't be too challenging. I'm not sure what the contact point on the wings will be like, but them being resin, they shouldn't be too heavy, so it's not like you're mounting metal wings. I don't know if this is showing up on camera, but the amount of detail on the actual webbing of the wings themselves is really, really cool. We'll take a wash really, really nicely. Very nice. I can imagine doing lots of airbrushing on the sort of fleshy tones, building up in layers, a little bit like I did with Goblin Town I painted earlier in the year, and then using some very thin washes and glazes to pick out some of the detail before doing a few touch-ups at the end. But very, very cool. And the wings from Bat B, slightly more curved position. I probably won't be putting paint on these for quite a while. So those of you who listen to the podcast will have heard me mention before, I've got a half-finished Azog's Legion Stroke Hunters army that I will go back to at some point, and I've already painted a couple of warbats from, I used the old Advanced Hero Quest ones, which are absolutely tiny. They're probably the size of one of these wings, and they were painted up ready to go. But as soon as I saw these, I thought, well, I want to replace the bats I've got, so I thought I'll snap them up, and it's nice to buy new models when they first come out if you can. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with those. I think they'll paint up really nicely. When I do paint them, of course I'll share pictures, but anyway, I'm very happy with what I got in my little box. Hello, thank you for watching another short video from Out of the Frying Pan. For those of you who haven't come across this before, this is a YouTube channel primarily based around Games Workshop's Middle-earth strategy battle game. We kind of review products and do some unboxings and painting videos and other few bits and bobs, in support mainly of our audio podcast. So there's a link in the show notes below of how to listen to our audio podcast. That's primarily where we are active. And this channel's a bit of a supporting act, really, for the things that don't really travel as well in audio. So we can't really do an audio unboxing; doesn't really work very well. So go and check us out if you haven't listened already. We're about 26 episodes in now, so there's lots of content in there about the game, lots of narrative, scenario discussion. We talk about films and things as well. It's quite laid back. So give us a check out. We've got Facebook and groups and pages and Instagram and Twitter and all the other social media things that you come to associate with such things as YouTube channels and audio podcasts. So thank you for joining us.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Run! Run!